Okay, a little bit further along than we were a couple of days ago. So all the wall tiles that are in have been grouted, but there are a few spots I do need to touch up. As you can see here, a few bits. Find a few bits everywhere. Everywhere I sort of see a dark spot, I know it's a low. I've got a low in here too, and there's a bit along here. So I've got to redo that. A little bit there, it's a little bit rough, but I've got a grout removal tool, so I'll just remove that and fix it up. A little bit of a low there by the looks of it. And yeah, there's just a few bits and pieces all over the joint, so I've just got to go and sort of fix it up. But it's had a quick wipe down. Nothing's polished or anything like that. Still everything's smeary. So tonight what I did is I used some gap filler, went along the cornice and the aluminium trim right along there, down the side here, which will help hold this trim in, and then from the bottom of the cabinet up, and here I had to put there was a little bit more, a little bit too big a gap there. I overestimated when I cut it out, so I put a piece of cement sheet in behind there, skinny piece with a bit of glue on it, a bit of liquid nails, and stuck that in. So you can see there, I got the string to sort of like pull it up hard against the plasterboard, and then I gap filled it in around there, which won't be noticed once the wall's painted here. What else? Oh, I don't know if I just pointed that out, but yeah, along there as well. Obviously I can't go right to the end because I haven't finished yet. I'm in the process of cutting a 12mm strip of plasterboard to go in under that cornice. It's a bit weird, this side doesn't have any, but it does have a gap, and then this side has a 12mm gap. It's because the roof's out from when the back end of the house collapsed all those years ago. As you can see, the black marks, when we put up this studded wall, we had trouble in certain spots. The roof was sagging in certain spots and we had to knock it in, and that's what left those black marks up there. So unfortunately I've got to put a piece of plasterboard in there, but it won't be noticed. If I put a piece of tile in there, you'll notice it because it won't finish off even around there. So plasterboard. Scavenging through my shed, and although this looks really grotty, it should clean up alright. It's the perfect piece of trim to go in there. It's actually plastic. It's not timber. I bought this for a caravan renovation about 12 years ago. So I'll give that a scrub down with a scourer sponge, and wipe it down with some what do they call it? Prep wash. Finally it came to me. Some prep wash, and then if I want to get a little bit of shine on it, I just put the heat gun on it and just slowly work the heat along, and that'll bring the shine out of it. You do it on fuel tanks, motorcycle fuel tanks, and plastic fenders and things like that. So it's the same process. What else? Had to raise the bath. There's the cradle there that's got to go down to support the bath. But silly us, when we measured the distance, we did put a tile on the framework here, but we forgot all about the cement sheet, so we lost whatever, 10mm, which is the thickness of a tile. So we just put down some tiles there to sit the cradle on. So that's brought that up to the right height. What else? Here with the cupboard, never even saw this as being a problem. But as you can see, when you stand back here, you've pretty much got the bottom edge of the cupboard, you got the side edge of the cupboard, but then you got nothing here because back behind back behind the tiles. Never thought about it. So what I'm going to do is I've got some more of this timber. I'm just going to cut a piece probably about 50 mil wide by the height of that, and I'm going to screw that into the side. So when you won't notice it even when the door's on, but when you open the door, at least you'll see that it's got a side on it. It'll look like it's got a side on it. So it's more cosmetic than anything, but I'm going to put a piece in there. I've got to put a piece up under here where you see that piece of pine. Again, I sort of bolstered up a little bit, come down a little bit too low with the tile, and I've got to put a 10 mil piece of timber in there, the width of that, which I think is 55. So come down, that'll then make the bottom of that level with the aluminium strip, and then I can screw my hinges to it for the door, and it won't bind on that trim. So yeah, I've got to do a bit of gap filling here. Totally forgot about that until I've just saw it. So I'll gap fill that in the next couple of minutes. As you can see here, I need to stick a little bit of grout under there too. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but yeah, it just hasn't been grouted under there. So I've got to do that, and might gap fill there between the tile and the timber as well. I'm not going to grout that. Better to gap fill it, I think, just because of, like, with the door slamming, you don't want the grout working loose. So we'll gap fill that, being a bit more flexible. What else? Got a gap fill up here too, but I'm not going to, until I'm ready to do all the paintwork in this little section here, I'm not going to touch that because I'll have to move all this, and I'm not prepared to move all this at the moment. I want to get all this tiling finished off this coming weekend. So we'll get the bath back in, we'll get that end framework back in, we'll prop the bath up with the little blocks. I've got a pair of these, another one down there. Prop the bath up, lay these tiles, and then lay across the end of the frame here. And then when that's dry, say give it an hour, I could take the blocks out and just drop the bath down onto it, whilst I can continue to keep tiling along the side here. That's not going to affect anything on the top there. So once the side's done, then I can come around here and lay these. What have we got? We've got to cut down the bottom, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles, and that is it. That's all the wall tiles down here. Then we start the floor. Now the floor shouldn't take long. As I've mentioned, everything that's going down on these existing black tiles is glued, so it's pretty straightforward. Just paint the glue on, stick the tile down. No screwing around, just put your little spacer crosses in there and that's it. This is the more complex bit, because I have to, obviously, you know, it might be a full tile in the corner there, but I've got to cut that tile down the center to allow the fall on the tile, and I've got to do that for this whole area. So I've got to have that fall running in towards the drain. So I've done my other shower before in my other bathroom, but it's very tiny. There's only like 10 tiles in there. So this will be a bit more of a challenge to get it right. Yeah, so hopefully by next Sunday, it's Tuesday evening now, by next Sunday should have the walls finished, should be very close to having the floor finished, And then during the next week, then we'll start with the plasterboard, finalise any plaster repairs that need to be done, any gap filling that needs to be done. That includes around here as well. Get it all prepped for paint, and maybe even paint, because I've got the paint, provided it's not too hot next week, which I think it's going to be in the mid-20s. It should be a good week to paint. Skirting, all the skirting's already cut. It's all pre-cut. It just needs to be painted. So that might be something I can do after work one night. Get all the skirting, pre-fit all the skirting again. Make sure it all fits properly. When I'm happy with all the fitment of the skirting, then start to paint it. I've got to just cut one piece for here. I took the old bit out, realised it wasn't going to work because as I was lifting the floor, the skirting was becoming smaller. So we'll put a new piece of skirting in to match this one. So that obviously will come up 10 mil, the thickness of the tile. So this side will match as well. As will all this. Silly me, didn't even realise this. I forgot to put the tile in. So when I do the rest of this, I'll put this one in. Don't know how I missed it. Just did. Probably tired, and it was getting late, and it's getting dark, and just forgot to do it. So yeah, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer now. So I have spoken to Paul, my bestie, to see if he can come over on Australia Day. So on the 26th of January, it's a Wednesday, so public holiday here. Going to get him to come over, and we're going to wire in the mirror that hangs here, because it's a backlit mirror. So that's got to go into a switch here. So it's if I can find it. I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. So it's a double power point with a switch in the middle for the lighting on the back of the mirror. So for me, no problem doing the PowerPoint part, but doing the mirror side of it, because it's a new connection and I'm not going into an existing connection, I let him do it. So that's why there's a blue piece of old data cable there. That's just to pull the cabling up through the wall, which is sort of in here somewhere. So that's the cable for the PowerPoint. So there's no problem with me connecting that. But then we've got to run the wires down here and then into the back of the switch, and then draw power from this cable as well. So I'll get him to do those. All the other electricals are done in here. So we did that when we set everything up. We got the 3-in-1 there, light, heaters which are on now for more light in here so I can film, and exhaust fan, so that's here. We got the power point down on this wall for the heated towel rack, and then obviously a double power point here and a switch for the light. Got to go and pick up a drill bit, a masonry drill bit, to drill these 2 holes out. I've made a start, but my masonry bit's blunt, so I've got to pick up a drill bit so I can put the hooks in for the mirror. So yeah, getting there. So I'll leave it here, and yeah, I'll film a little bit more either during the week or over the weekend.